Hey guys, how you going? And welcome to a brand new series, the Career Mode Challenge series, where we're going to be taking one player each episode through a simmed career. Now, what is the challenge, you ask? Well, it will change depending on the player, but in this instance, we are simming through the career of Steve Smith with the goal of beating Tendulkar's test record of 15,921 runs before the age of 40, which is of course when Tendulkar retired. So first up, what we're going to do here, we're going to be taking a look at Sachin Tendulkar's record before getting on with the simming. So as you can see here, as I said earlier, he scored 15,921 runs, an average of 53.78 with 51 tons and 68 half centuries. Now that was done in 200 tests, and he retired on his when he was 40, so that is the challenge in itself. We're also going to be comparing Steve Smith's record with the ODIs in 2020. It's pretty much his whole record. We're just going to be seeing how it is at the end of age 40, and if he doesn't have the record by 40, then we'll keep going until he actually gets it, and then whatever age that is going to be the benchmark for other episodes going forward, and then it's pretty much just going to be a sort of leaderboard just to see who beats each record. So looking at the ODIs here, he's played 463 ODIs and an average of 44 with a high score of 200 not out. 2020 internationals, he only played the one. First class matches, 310. He scored 25,396 runs, an average of 57.84. And in the list A format, 551 matches, almost 22,000 runs, just one shy, and an average of 45.54. One of the greatest batsmen to ever play the game. It's an absolutely stunning record. Now let's take a look at Steve Smith. So now we're going to be taking a look at Steve Smith's current record. Now currently he's 31 years old, but in the game I think he's 29, so that gives us 11 years to work with. Currently he's played 73 tests, he scored 7,200 runs at 62.84. That is a cracking record there with a great conversion rate. ODIs, he scored over 4,000 runs at 42. Looking at the first class record, over 11,000 runs at 57. And list A, almost 6,000 runs at 45. So once again, another fantastic record there. That average is absolutely elite. And now let's take a look at the Cricket 19 record. So as I said earlier, he is 29 in this game, and currently he's played 69 tests, 6,517 runs, an average of 59.25. So we've got 11 seasons to try and get, how many runs is that, 9,000 runs or so? I mean, it's going to be an absolute mission. And if we don't get it done by the time he's 40, then we're going to keep on doing it until he actually breaks the record. And as I said earlier, there's going to be a leaderboard. So each time I do a batsman, the next batsman's going to have to try and beat Steve Smith's record. So ODIs, not that we're really too worried about the ODIs, but he scored 3,400 runs at 41. First class, over 10,000 runs at 56.15. And list A, another great record, 46 average, over 5,000 runs there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to sim through a whole season. We might stop for the World Cup and the Ashes just to see the results there. But let's finally get started. So I've stopped on the eve of the 5th Ashes test. Now this is a bit of a surprise. England are actually winning 3-1, so they've already won the Ashes. If we take a look at the stats here, we've got Steve Smith, 376 runs, an average of 53.71. He scored 2 tons in that, but they've already lost the Ashes. I think in the World Cup as well, they didn't even make the semi-finals, so they're really struggling there. Let's just simulate this one, see how he goes. Can't see him performing here. 48 in the first dig, and then in the second he scored 18. Matty Wade at 3 is a bit interesting. It's definitely an interesting lineup. Sam Whiteman in there as well. Jake Lehman. Let's look at the England side over here. Sam Haines, Joe Root opening. Tom Moores, Benny Howe, Payne. What's Sam Billings doing there? What the hell is this lineup? So we're currently back at the next IPL, so a whole year has passed pretty much. As you can see, it's now 30. What we're going to do now is look at the stats from the final, from the last year. So we're sort of split over 2 years here. So we'll look at 2019. He scored 1,054 runs, an average of 65.88. His high score of 280. Wonder who that came against. Let's take a look here. We can probably see here. It came against New Zealand in 3 matches. He scored 509 runs. Okay, taking the absolute piss there. So yeah, averaging 65.88. That's a great start. 4 tons, great conversion there. ODIs, he played 12, averaging 38. 2020 international was 162 average. So yeah, he had a pretty good season in that regard. If we look at still the new year, 118 runs, high score of 71, averaging 29.5. He's only played the 2 tests. So his average isn't that flash there. But if we look at the career so far, he's 30, he's got 10 years to go, 7,689 runs, an average of 59.15. Still has a lot of work to go. He needs what? 9,000, almost just under 9,000 runs to break the record in 10 years. Is it possible? Surely it is with that average, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes on. And now we're at the 2020 World Cup, so we're playing in Australia here. First match is against Pakistan. Let's sim through a couple of these matches. Let's go to at the end of the group stages, see how we go. So Pakistan played South Africa in the semi-final, Pakistan through to the final, India playing Australia in the semi-final at Adelaide Oval. Let's sim that one. India won by 7 wickets, unbelievable. Steve Smith 48 not out of 27 deliveries. And India getting it done. Okay, now this is going to be the first test of 2021. So what I'm going to do is take a look at 2020. I'm just going to do it by the end of every year, just to be easier. So in 2020, he only played 6 test matches, 402 runs at 40, which isn't that great. Didn't score a ton, unfortunately. ODIs, 145 runs, 18 2020s, of course, it being a World Cup year, there was a lot played. He averaged 86, so not a bad average there. Okay, now we have reached the next Ashes. This is the start of 2022, so we've gone through 2021. Let's have a look at those stats, but look at that. England 4-0 up. What is going on here? Let's look at these stats for 2021. 7 test matches, 632 runs, an average of 52. Wow, high score of 155. ODIs averaging 83. So I mean, it's pretty good record. Lowest average here was in the test of 52, so pretty good. So now we have finished the year 2022. Steve Smith is now 33 years old. Let's take a look at the stats from 2022. He played 14 tests. He scored 1,400 runs, an average of 61. High score 161, 6 tons, 7 half centuries. ODIs, he scored 470 at 33. 2020s 400 at 58. So how is he going for his career? He's got 7 years to go. He's just ticked over 10,000 runs, an average of 58.09, 34 tons, 40, 50, 7 years to get, what, 6,000 runs? He should be able to walk this one, I reckon. Okay, we're now in another Ashes series, 2023 this time. England are up 2-1. So we're going to simulate this one, see how we go. And England won by 221 runs, not great. Steve Smith 61 in the first innings. Look, they absolutely smashed. So England, once again, they've won 3 Ashes series in a row, absolutely walking it in. Let's take a look at these stats through 4 matches, because we can't see after 5, unfortunately. So let's take a look at the batting stats. Joe Root, 712 runs, Jesus. And then Harris next. Root absolutely smashed him. Steve Smith, 357 runs at 44, not great by his standards. And simulating the last game, Australia won by 44 runs. Doesn't look like Steve Smith did much, 18 in the first. And then in the second, he scored 15, so not great there. England walking away with it 3-2. So once again, another year has gone by. It is the year of 2023. He is now 34. Form is not looking good, so it's a bit of a struggle. 2023 stats, 10 test matches, 830 runs at 43. One-day internationals, 405 runs. 2020s, 371 runs at 185, so not a bad little average there. But if we look at the stats, so what was he now? 34, he's got 6 years to go, and he's got 11,000 runs, so there's 4,000 more to get, average 56.69. He's a chance to get it done before his 40, I reckon. So 2024, done and dusted, age 35 right now. Let's take a look at some stats. And year 2024, 6 tests, 514 runs, an average of 46. Now, they did have the 2020 World Cup. Don't think they won it though. 701 2020 runs, an average of 77. So absolutely flew there. And let's look at the career stats. 11,000 runs at an average of 56.16. So it has dropped quite a bit. I think it was 59 before we started. So yeah, definitely dropping. Okay, once again, back at it. 2025 is done and dusted. Steve Smith is now 36 years of age. England 3-1 up in the Ashes, so they've already won it again. This is the last Ashes test coming up. Let's look at the previous year's stats. In 2025, 7 tests at 4. He's got 441 runs, an average of 31. He is regressing quite a bit there. ODIs, 332 runs at 83. First class, yeah, he's averaging under 40, so not great. Career-wise though, it's 12,000 runs. He's another, needs another 4,000 odd runs. Average is dipping 54.36. And if we look at the stats from the Ashes just through the 4 tests, Marcus Harris on top. Where is Steve Smith? 296 runs, 37 average, not great. Let's simulate this last one. England won by 9 wickets. And what did Steve Smith do? 42, and then with the ball, with the bat, 20 in the second dig. What is Critchley up to? Taking 4 for? Jesus. So England, they are certainly dominant. They've won every Ashes test, every Ashes series that we've simmed. Another year has flown by. 2026 is done and dusted. Steve Smith at 37, he's got 3 years to go. And how did he perform in the year 2026? 530 runs, an average of 25.24. Geez, that has been his worst season yet, only the 1 ton. Went pretty poorly in the ODIs. 2020s he went alright, averaging 52. But career-wise now, 12,659 runs. Another, 3,000 odd more runs to go. Average 51.67, that is gone down quite a bit. It's not looking good. So now we're on to the one-day World Cup here, 2027. We're playing England in the semi-final, Bangladesh are in the final of the World Cup. Actually, let's take a look at the stats at the moment. Ghani from Afghanistan, 680. Anyone from Australia? Anyone? Subgotch? Yeah, he's doing alright. Okay, semi-final. England won by 4 wickets. I've got the wood over us in this career mode, that's for certain. Gotch getting a ton, Steve Smith 9. Not great, and yeah, England getting it done pretty easily there. So I've just simmed the first Ashes test match because it's happened straight after the World Cup again, and look at what happened. Australia won by 1 wicket, but look at this. So England 378, right? Sam Billings 59, batting 11. What is up with that, by the way? And then Australia in the first innings, Smith 3, not great. Harris and Shaw getting tons. And then with the bat for England, 421. So what do they need? They need 413 to win. Look at Riley Meredith at 9. 160 off 214. Gabe Bell 61. They were 9 for 190. How many runs is that? That is over a 200 run partnership, like 220 run partnership to win the Ashes test. Steve Smith could only get 14, he's having a shocker. So it is now the 5th Ashes test. Australia have won all 4 matches. They are on a tear at the moment. Good work, lads. And he scored the most runs. Ryan Higgins, 411 runs. Steve Smith in 3rd, 380 at averaging 54. So that's nice. Let's simulate the last match, and England won by 2 wickets. How did old Steve Smith go? He got a 3-ball duck. And in the second innings, he got 46. Everyone sort of scored there. Brooks taking 7 for 34. Jeez, this is weird. Henry Brooks down the bottom there. Some of these scorecards are very, very weird. Look at Steve Smith having a bowl. But Australia have won back the Ashes after like 4 or 5 times in this career. 2027, once again, done and dusted. Age 38, he's got 2 more years left. Let's take a look at the 2027 stats. And he scored 801 runs at an average of 50. He's back, 4 tons, 1 half century there, high score of 159. It was a bumper season of cricket. Also had the World Cup there. He scored 571 runs at an average of 57. Career-wise, well, he's got 2 years to go, right? It's 13,589 runs. What he's got, 2,400 runs to go. His averages dipped so much though. 156 test matches, so Tendulkar had 200, so what, another 44 to go there. He won't play that many in the next 2 years though. 2028, done and dusted, age 39, so he doesn't even have a whole year left. Oh, we'll see out the whole year just to see how he goes though. Stats wise, 2028, 491 runs and an average of 35, real yuck stuff. ODIs, 28 runs at an average of 9. 2020, 636 runs at an average of 63. Not great. Career-wise, 14,177 runs. What's he? Just under 2,000 runs to go. Average though, it started off at 59, it's now dropped to 50, so he's had a real shocker since we've taken over. So back at it with the Ashes. Steve Smith is now 40. It is the last match of the year. It's a real weird one. They're playing actually on New Year's. England have won the Ashes back. They've won 3-1 with the last game to go. This bloke Levi McIntosh, he must have just made his debut. He's averaging 94. He made his debut in the Ashes and he's averaging 94 career-wise. Good on you, Levi. As for Steve Smith, 187 runs at average 23. It's probably almost time he retires. Let's simulate the last match. Landon Green 98, okay, here we go. Don't know, how did Steve go? England won a game. Steve 25, and then in the second innings he scored 10. So 2029 is done and dusted. He is now age 40 and a half or so. So he hasn't beaten Sachin Tendulkar's record unfortunately, but what we will do, let's have a look at his stats now. So from the last year, 411 runs at 25. Geez, really fallen away there. ODIs 234. So, and career-wise, now let's try and match him up against Tendulkar just to see how close he actually got by the time he was 40 years old. So Sachin Tendulkar, 15,921 runs. Steve Smith got up to 14,588 runs, so 1,400 shy, averaging 48.79 compared to Tendulkar's 53.78. ODIs, 227 ODIs for Steve. He scored, Tendulkar scored 18,000 ODI runs and Steve got 7,800, so he got smashed on that. But he did play, Sachin played 460 ODIs compared to 227. 2020 internationals, no use comparing that because he only played the one. First class, Sachin played 310 matches, Steve's played 298, 24,000 runs, almost got Sachin Tendulkar there. He averaged 49.47, 67 tons, 102 half centuries. So not a bad career, but he didn't beat Sachin's record by the time he was 40. So unfortunately the challenge has been failed, but what I will do, I'll keep simulating until he actually does beat the record, and we'll take his age from there, and that can be a guide for the following episodes. 2030, done and dusted, age 41 here. Has he broken the record yet? Let's have a look. 15,233 runs, he's around 700 runs shy. They average 47, not a pretty sight compared to what it was. Last year he scored 645 runs at 32, ODI 789 at 60, and 2020's 499 at 62. Okay, we're now in the 2031 Ashes. Now he's got, I think he's got like 400 runs to go. 15,515 runs, and he needs another 400 or plus. And then he's got it. Can he get it done in this Ashes series? Would be a great way to finish the episode or the video. Let's simulate the first one. England absolutely smashed it. 9 for 603. What the hell, Sebastian Staplefield? Smith 59 in the first innings. What did he do in the second? He got a golden duck. Good. In the second match, he went a bit better. 9 in the first dig, but in the second he got 89. So he's getting there. I don't think he'll get it during this Ashes though. In the next match, 18, and then who scored 150 and 275? A couple, or Jack Sampson. Jeez, who are you, mate? In the second, he didn't need to bat. Okay, so what's going on here? So up to the fourth test here, Australia up 2-1. If they win this, they've won the Ashes back. So simulate England 1 by 1 wicket. Steve Smith top scorer in the first, 54. And then in the second innings, he scored 13. Fifth and final test, it is a 2 apiece here. A win here for Australia would see them win the Ashes. And they got absolutely smashed. Not great. I don't think Steve did much either. What did he get? 53 and then 9 in the second. So I don't think he's got that. I don't think he's got that record. What did he end up with? 15,819. Okay, so he's got another just under 200 runs to go. Okay, now the year 2031, it is the 30th of November. He is still 42 years of age, but he's finally done it. Look at this, 15,982 runs. He's got it by 60 odd runs. He's done it in 7 tests earlier than Sachin Tendulkar. Well, he finished up with 200 tests, 15,921 runs, and now Steve Smith, 193 tests, 15,982 runs, averaging 47.28, 45 tons, 67 half centuries. He was 600s shy of Tendulkar's record there. Still nowhere near the ODI record. First class record, he's beaten that one, although Tendulkar's average 57 compared to 48 is quite massive. How did he go in 2031? 467 runs at 35. Look, it wasn't great. His record definitely was on a downward slope, especially when he started averaging 59. It just went downhill, but he finally got there in 7 tests quicker than Sachin Tendulkar. He did do it though when he was 42. So that is going to be the benchmark for the next episodes going forward for the batsman. So that is pretty much it for this career mode challenge featuring Steve Smith. He finally got there. He's broken the test record for runs, albeit at 42 years of age. It's probably time to hang up the boots here. I don't actually know if you can retire either. I know you can just keep playing for as long as possible if you guys have seen my 100-year career mode. So I'm just going to pretty much leave it at that. One thing I will do now is let's take a look at which player we're going to choose in the next episode. So I created this in Photoshop. What I'm going to do, the one that it stops on is the player I'm going to be choosing for the next one. So let's see who we get here. And it's going to be Virat Kohli, so that's going to be extremely interesting to see how he goes. Can he beat Tendulkar? Can he beat Smith's record of 193 tests? Can he get it done before the age of 40 or 42? Only time will tell, but I had a lot of fun making this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But until then, take it easy.